Sin was easily one of the most famous TikTokers in the early 2020s. He got dozens of millions of views a video, he gained millions of followers a year, and everyone knew who he was. But now, his comments are filled to the rim with hate, he constantly is being hit with hate videos, and his views have gone from millions to barely even 1,000 each. So, what happened? Today, we'll get into it. Disclaimer, we are not hating on Luke in this video, but we will be criticizing him in some areas while standing up for him in others. Anyway, I also want to remind you to subscribe to my animation channel. It's at Coco Animated, and I have a huge project coming this summer, and you don't want to miss it. I also want to give a quick note that I am very sick, so my voice sounds lower and more crappy than usual. I can't really control it. I apologize for that. It's gonna sound a little worse than usual. I also want to, on my animation channel, reach 10 to 15,000 subs by summer so I can have a decent amount of people watch it when the project comes out, and my Discord server is also in the. Now let's get into the video. Luke was the TikToker everyone knew. He blew up on TikTok during lockdown, and Bud was getting some serious views. I looked him up on Google, and there isn't much personal info about him other than that he likes golf, but one thing is for sure, this guy carried middle school TikTok. With his towel on the head, including his mom skits and his crazy facial expressions, there was no mistaking it. He knew how to ride the algorithm and get an insane amount of views.
Who knows George Washington? Luke, do you know George Washington?
No, I don't.
How about you, Lesha? Do you know George Washington?
I have no clue, miss.
Come on, class. Does no one know George Washington? Oh, Jesse, do you know George Washington?
What if he walked into the wrong classroom?
Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna hate, but holy crap, that was the most unfunny thing I've ever seen. Get it? Because no one knows who George Washington is personally. I'm not gonna explain it. Anyway, he wasn't the only one who started to blow up in the 2020s. The Manny Show and others saw massive growth during this time. I remember being in middle school and wanting to be someone like this online, so I thought skits were my thing. Let's just say, thank goodness I did not pursue that dream because holy shit, I mean crap, because my parents watched my videos, I would have been so cringe. I don't even think like Luke personally is that cringe, but I would have been so cringe. Anyway, Luke moved over to YouTube because of his massive success on TikTok. While his account was created in 2012, he started uploading about 4 years ago or during COVID. And when he did, he titled his first video in all caps, "I hit 1 million followers on TikTok." That video gained over 300,000 views, so he began to upload more content about him being a TikToker and like the everyday life of one, which these videos got a decent amount of views. Then he began to make reaction content, which got much more views. One of his reaction videos gained over 20 million views, many reaching over 10. As someone who has a decent understanding about how much YouTube pays, let me tell you that could have easily paid between $50,000 to $100,000. Insane for one single video. So it was clear Luke was getting rich off YouTube and finding success there as well. When he first began to blow up, no one seemed to hate or care about him. But by 2022, Luke began to get hit by hate videos on YouTube and his hate comments in his TikTok sections increased. People were getting a little tired of his skits and crazy facial expressions. They called him cringe, repetitive, and stuck in 2020. We'll get into the comments a little bit more, but first let's uncover the hate videos that began to release on him. The hate videos were the very beginning of what would lead to Luke's ultimate downfall. The first was by a Cheeto, a commentary channel with a decent following.
But yeah, this guy's content is like school project level quality, and he's got almost 6 million subscribers.
Cheeto basically said that Luke was cringy and low effort. Luke responded in a fairly mature manner. He commented and explained why some things of his were cringe and also agreed with some points that Cheeto made. Overall, a very humble and respectable response. More people continued to make videos, and Luke would react surprisingly humbly as each video came out.
Or assignments.
Oh, wait, I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Has this ever happened to you?
See, like, they're making fun of me, but it's not even making fun of me at the same time. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. And like I said at the start of the video, they're just well, I don't know if they're just doing this for like content or if they actually don't like my videos or what they think of my videos, but I'm taking it as it's just for fun.
And I don't mean to glaze this guy anyway. Like, there's plenty of things to criticize him for. Like, his reaction videos a lot of time don't credit the creators, which is very not okay. But his response, I must admit, to most of these videos is very appropriate. He's very polite and humble and kind when he responds. Of course, he could just be putting on a personality for the camera and trying to look like he's better than them. But overall, from what I've seen from these videos, he seems very humble and likable. I mean, this video, if you watch the full video of Luke reacting to these people, these two are so mean to him. Like, it's okay to find him cringe. Like, it's understandable maybe sometimes, but these people literally make like a 40-minute long video just making fun of him and tearing him apart and just making the most sarcastic humor the entire time, so it is surprising that he was able to react in such a polite manner. I mean, sorry to kind of like derail or go off topic, but I mean, a lot of people who do shorts and blow up have this massive ego for no reason because they're like fooled by the numbers they have. If you have over 1 million followers from shorts, that literally means less than someone who has 100,000 subscribers in long form because shorts are so easy to get views on. I used to make shorts and like my first ever shorts video got like 10,000 views. Imagine if I kept doing it. I could easily get some videos with 1 million views. It's just your audience isn't really loyal, and it's just so if you create shorts, chances are your audience isn't loyal. Most won't watch your videos and don't really care about you. Sure, there are some cases that prove this false, but overall, the ego of some shorts YouTubers who think they're somebody like better than everyone else is insane. Luke, surprisingly, in his videos I've seen of him, seems to recognize that he is the same as everyone and remains fairly humble when reacting to hate videos overall. There's no, I'm great, I'm an amazing person, people just want clout from me crap. Luke realizes he's a shorts YouTuber. His name doesn't actually bring a ton of clicks, and he expresses that humbly. So Luke was able to gain support, and with his reactions to hate, most of the comments were talking about how kind and humbled he was. People saw how respectful he was being, but then things sadly took a turn for the worse. Luke's TikTok comments went from worse to very worse. Very worse isn't a word, is it? Very bad. Worser. Horrible. I don't know. At first, it was just a you suck or you fell off every once in a while. But soon, it was filled to the rim with, I used to watch you 2020. Let it go, bro. Bro carry 2019. Uncle's still doing this. They get more brutal. Hardest fall off of all time. Haven't seen bro since 2020. I forgot about bro. You get the idea. This is literally every single comment section of his. It is so hard to find a single positive comment. And as sad as it is to admit, according to the numbers, these comments may not be far off. Luke's channels on YouTube now struggle to gain even a fraction of what they used to gain. For example, his reaction channel, which used to get over 1 million views a video, now barely scrapes over 40,000 a video. And his other channels are clearly dying because they only get a few thousand videos a release, like his fact channel gets maybe 4,000 views a video. And I can already see the hate comment being typed out by that one 10-year-old that types a hate comment under every single video of mine. Consistency, I know, right? Well, 40,000 views is a lot of views, so why don't you shut up? He's got 17 million followers. Exactly. 17 million followers and 40,000 views is pretty rough. Think about it. For my channel, 40,000 views in maybe the first month would be very badly flopping. Some of my videos that flop by the end of the month are about 40 to 50,000 views, and I have 140,000 subscribers. That is not even the tiniest percentage of his channel. So clearly, his channel seems to be dying. I mean, this is not, at the end of the day, arguing if he's a bad person or not. It's just, why are his numbers dying? Once again, this isn't a battle of like, oh, Luke Davidson is bad and cringe and he deserves to fall off and he fell off because he sucks now. No, it's literally a battle of statistics. Statistics you can't argue with. They've gone down. So before Luke Davidson 506 types a hate comment and doxes me, just like, it's not personal, buddy. This is a fate a lot of shorts channels like this will face. At the end of the day, it's because they quickly go viral, but their audiences don't really stick around, and there's a lot more reasons, so we're gonna get into those reasons now. Firstly, let's start with the repetitiveness of his videos. Remember, this is no attack, this is just simple criticism. His videos are very, very repetitive. If you look at his TikTok channel now and then you watch a video from 2020, nothing has changed. He's often doing the same exact skits again or very similar ones, telling the same jokes. He clearly hasn't spent any more money. Like, he hasn't tried to increase the production of his videos. I mean, sure, he still gets a decent amount of views, so it's understandable that he wouldn't want to do that. But overall, TikTok is constantly changing. And if you're not able to change and adapt and impress your audience in new ways and constantly change for them, it's just inevitable that you're likely going to fall off. I mean, just take my channel, for example. I'm constantly changing my thumbnail style all the time. I change it because it gets boring to use the same one over and over again. Sure, lots of channels this works for them, but me personally, I feel like I need to change them a lot because it gets too repetitive if I keep the same one for too long. Sure, if a thumbnail works really well, I'll use it for a while, but over time, I eventually start using a different style. And of course, no hate to anyone that uses a similar one. This is just me personally.
Number 12. Number 4. What's going on? Why is everyone laughing? We've all been in this prison for so long, we all know the same jokes. So rather than saying the whole story, we just yell out the number. Oh, okay. Number 6. Why is no one laughing? No offense, but some people know how to tell a joke, and some people don't. No!
I mean, look at this video. It's from 2024 and it's a simple green screen and simple filters. Anyone could make this video. There's really no change since 2020, considering that Luke has made hundreds of thousands of dollars from social media. I mean, it's his choice and he still gets a decent amount, but nowhere near what he used to get. I mean, that's just something that I noticed. Now, moving on, there's something that he couldn't control, and that's TikTok's short attention span. TikTok moves on constantly. They choose a person, give them attention, and then move on quickly. And if you're not able to constantly follow trends perfectly and change with it, it's likely that TikTok will leave you behind and see you as a fallen creator. If you think it is hard to stay relevant on YouTube or any platform, TikTok is literally next level. It is so hard. I'm telling you, trends die within 24 hours. Accounts that got millions of views are dead within an hour. You are fighting to the death. It's like the Hunger Games, but you're trying to get someone's attention. It's insane. You are fighting to the death to get someone's attention. And yes, I blocked out the word death because I'm that greedy for money and monetization. And I'm going to warn you now, the criticism is going to be taken up a notch. It's going to get a little more personal. So if you really, really don't want that, click away. I have plenty of other videos that aren't criticizing people. Anyway, once again, don't hate Luke, just criticizing and explaining the possible reasons behind his massive decrease in views. Now, moving on to the next reason, I assume, is that he makes reaction content on YouTube. Let's focus specifically on YouTube for a little while. And reaction content is just in itself low effort and ununique. There are so many channels competing for reaction, and they all have like the same edit style, and there's really nothing unique about them. And at the end of the day, if the audience finds a channel they like better, I mean, what reason do they have to follow and watch Luke's videos? They could watch the beloved Sniper Wolf that totally didn't dox someone. They could watch Mr. Beast's channel, which I think is like dead now. He hasn't uploaded in like a year, but there are a million other channels that they could watch. Reaction channels in themselves are just so ununique, so unoriginal. I mean, Luke's content was literally identical to Sniper Wolf. No, in no way am I saying he copied her. She copied like a million people herself. She's just the most popular person with that kind of content. My point is that the content is just so like unoriginal, ununique, and overdone. It's bound to fail.
For April Fools, I have decided to cover the biggest joke that I could think of, and that's the site User Benchmark. First of all, I have nothing against this site. In fact, I love it. It's very entertaining. If you use it like I do, then there's nothing wrong with it. Just don't use it for anything other than entertainment, because the site isn't what it seems. Because whoever writes the product summaries on this site really hates AMD. It has become a habit for me to regularly look up products on this site to see what they have to say on them, because without fail, they'll praise Intel and shun AMD. And this has only got more entertaining as AMD's products have got better. It wasn't hard to criticize AMD's processors a few years ago, because Intel really was a lot better than AMD. This is probably why I didn't know about this site until relatively recently, because their views on products were quite similar to everybody else's on the topic at the time. But all this changed with Ryzen, which was when AMD's products were suddenly actually rather good again. With every generation of Ryzen processor, AMD has closed the gap with Intel. They have gained market share, and with it, this site's biases have become increasingly apparent. And with the latest products, the summaries are literally ridiculous. We'll start this story in 2016. AMD processors sucked, and Intel processors went up to 4 cores, 8 threads, and had done for many years. If you wanted anything more than that, you had to spend a lot of money on it. But all this changed in 2017 when AMD released the Ryzen 1000 series. At any given price point, AMD offered more cores and threads than Intel did. Most famously, their 1600 processor offered 12 threads for $220, which was 3 times more threads than Intel's competing i5s had. Although a bit behind for single-core performance, it was an absolute bloodbath in anything multi-threaded. The flagship product was the Ryzen 1800X, 8 cores, 16 threads. There wasn't much point in getting this since the cheaper models offered similar specs for a lot less money, but I'm showing you this one so that you know what User Benchmark was like back then. They loved this processor. They say it offers a staggering level of multi-core performance, and I agree with all of that. In fact, they're even more generous than I am by saying that it's only 9% behind Intel's CPU for IPC, when I think in practice it was often slower than this. Not that it mattered much since it was still very fast, and the increased number of cores more than made up for it. But yeah, there you have it. In 2017, User Benchmark thought AMD's Ryzen processors were excellent. They called the 1600 the best value for money 6-core CPU they had seen to date. And they're even kind on the Ryzen 3 CPUs, which, of the lineup, were arguably the weakest competition. But User Benchmark still sings their praises and points out their strengths. All in all, I agree completely with this site in 2017, which might be why I didn't know much about it back then. Later that year, Intel released their first mainstream 6-core processor, the i7-8700K, and it was a good one, and I agree with User Benchmark's summary on this product as well, stating that it's a lot better. They even acknowledge how good AMD is, saying that Intel once again has to compete. Now on to 2018 and the Ryzen 2000 series. And this is where the fun starts. Of all the Ryzen generations, the 2000 series was the smallest step up, being just a refined version of the 1000 series, but it still offered more performance for less money than before. But User Benchmark didn't like this one as much. They acknowledge that it offers better value for money for workstation users, but that streamers should look elsewhere, implying they'll drop frames with this processor. I don't think I disagree with any of this, but it seems odd that they'd mentioned this on the 2700X's page, with it being the most capable processor for this sort of activity at the time. They do at least point out that it beats Intel for multi-core, but say that it is slower if you limit it to a single or quad-core situation, which I agree with. But this would all change with AMD's Ryzen 3000 series, which was where AMD finally closed the gap and matched Intel for single-core performance. Just weeks before the Ryzen 3000 series came out, however, User Benchmark changed how they rated processors. With more and more processors with more than 4 cores being released, the site decided to change the ratings to favour fewer cores. Single core was bumped up from 30% to 40% of a processor's result. Quad core was dropped down from 60 to 57%, and multi-core, the rating that accounted for the whole processor, was dropped from 10% down to just 2%. They argued that multi-core performance isn't suitable for desktop PCs because typical workloads rarely exceed 2 cores. That's right. User Benchmark thinks you only need 2 cores. This change to how processors were reviewed was great for Intel, which up until then were typically faster than AMD CPUs per core. With so much emphasis on single core, however, strange situations began to arise where a flagship AMD CPU would get beaten by Intel's cheapest, which bore no resemblance to real-life performance whatsoever. There were many crazy examples of this happening, really silly looking stuff. Even the uninformed viewer would look at this and think something strange was going on. User Benchmark basically became a meme with this sort of stuff, and before long their site was banned from places around the internet. You can understand it getting banned from AMD's subreddit, but User Benchmark had become such a meme that it even got banned from Intel's subreddit, because their site no longer made any sense whatsoever, and its results no longer conformed with reality. But like I said, just a few weeks after this change, the Ryzen 3000 series came out, and finally AMD achieved parity with Intel in all but fringe cases. They offered similar single-core performance and better multi-core performance to Intel processors. And this is where User Benchmark's summaries began to get very interesting indeed. Now AMD wasn't behind in any meaningful way, so you'd think that User Benchmark would be forced to start praising AMD's processors, but the summary slagged it off for being bundled with a free cooler. It then went off on a lengthy tangent about overclocking with a custom cooler, and then spent the second half of the review slagging AMD off for offering worse eFPS. What is eFPS? User Benchmark argues that FPS doesn't fully represent the FPS you get, so created an alternative measurement of FPS that only they seem to be able to measure called eFPS. How does this work? I'm not really sure. It seems like they manually record benchmarks using all kinds of CPUs and GPUs, though recent CPUs have only been tested with the GeForce 2060 Super, which limits eFPS's potential somewhat. Surprise, surprise, AMD performs badly in these tests. For instance, the 10700K is 12% faster than the new Ryzen 5600X is in Fortnite. The 9600K is still 11% faster, and even the Ryzen 3 600 is 9% faster. Either User Benchmark is wrong here, or the entire rest of the world is. Who am I to say? In one of the videos explaining eFPS, they showcase AMD hardware stuttering terribly in games. I believe they claim these stutters are something to do with AMD's inferior memory controllers and latency compared with Intel, which comes as a result of AMD using multiple chips connected together instead of one big one. There's some truth to the memory latency here, but strangely, it's only User Benchmark that shows it impacting results so noticeably and catastrophically. So there you go. AMD CPUs are worse than Intel's. And this is where my fascination with the site comes from, because with each generation of CPUs, I excitedly read all of the reviews for them, look at all of the benchmarks, and then jump on over to this site to see how they've managed to twist the results to make AMD look bad, and Intel good. And I have a treat for you, because the story doesn't end here. Because the new generation of AMD and Intel CPUs have been released, and AMD's Ryzen 5000 series is better in every measurable metric. It's fast for multi-core, it's the fastest for single-core, and the memory latency is less than anything else out there. So let's see what User Benchmark has to say about the 5800X, the fastest 8-core 16-thread CPU out there. They say it's better value than another AMD CPU, but I even disagree with this statement. But then they go on to say that it doesn't stand a chance against Intel, claiming that Intel's much cheaper 9600K is just as good as the 5800X, and that gamers that do not wish to pay marketing fees can invest those savings in a better GPU. So suddenly, when AMD is faster than Intel in every conceivable measurement, user Barkmensch then argues that none of this matters because you can save money by getting a cheaper CPU. Incredible. To be honest, I do agree. I don't get their fixation on gaming and only gaming, but gaming is much more about the GPU than it is about the CPU. So let's take a look at a cheap, fast 4-core AMD CPU like the 3300X. And suddenly they flipped back to AMD isn't fast enough, while finding space to praise Intel for its encoding performance, which is nothing to do with gaming. Like I said, I am endlessly entertained by User Benchmark's imagination and creativity. It's written to confirm the biases of people who already think that Intel's the best, or to convince people who don't understand hardware enough to know any better. But I do know my hardware, and I can see exactly what they're doing here. They know they're being dishonest because they're happy to use half-truths whenever it benefits their purpose to do so, but only when it benefits them. These half-truths may be half true, but it's the half that isn't that's being used to mislead people here. Like, anybody who knows their stuff will be rightfully pissed off with this bit, where they claim there's no upgrade path for gamers beyond the 3300X, so they'll be forced to buy a new Intel system. What a kick in the teeth, given how this Ryzen platform will allow you to slip in a far more powerful processor into the system than the Intel one will. What a manipulative way of wording. If you demand a single-digit performance increase in gaming, you must buy a new PC. And then to have the nerve to shoot down AMD's powerful CPUs as being too expensive whenever they outperform Intel. It's manipulative, it's deceptive, and they 100% know what they're doing. And then to play the victim and to accuse everybody else of being paid shills. Stroke of manipulative genius right there. I could spend hours and hours trying to untangle their web of half-truths. But there's a much simpler explanation. For any Intel CPU, they praise it on what it is, while for any AMD CPU, it's criticised for what it isn't. So the next thing I'm looking forward to is how they choose to rate the upcoming 4-core AMD APUs, which seem to have everything they want. Like, I can't personally see how they can possibly criticise them, but I know they'll find a way. The problem with this site is that it's big and influential among people who know nothing about computer hardware other than whatever comes top of Google search, which, more often than not, is User Benchmark's site. But to see such brazen favouritism from such a large site, it's staggering. It has reached alternative facts levels of deception. It's trying to rewrite reality, and I'm not sure why. They claim there's some kind of global conspiracy against them, but their disdain for the rest of the community simply comes across as hostile and unprofessional. Their site isn't just disagreeing with other sites, they are contradicting the very things that they used to say themselves. Since their glowing review of Ryzen in 2017, AMD's processors have only become better and more competitive with Intel, yet their reviews of them have only become more negative and increasingly full of hatred, unnecessary, unwarranted hatred. Something is going on behind the scenes here. There has to be. I accept that no matter how good AMD's processors are, Williams and Blackton will never acknowledge that they're better than Intel's. But here's a thought. What if, instead of AMD's processors being good, what if Intel's processors were bad? Like, so bad that nobody could write a good review about them. Intel's newest flagship product, the 11900K, is not a good processor. Every review of it has said the same thing. It's hot and it's power hungry, and its cores aren't even the fastest anymore. Plus it's priced terribly, being way too expensive for what it is, putting its 8 cores in direct comparison with AMD's vastly superior 12-core processor, and even Intel's superior previous gen 10-core product. It's a joke. Oh, User Benchmark. All of your shifting goalposts, all of your odd skews of perception, they've backed you into a corner, and it's all come pouring out gloriously in your review of Intel's 11900K. I can be as scathing as I like about User Benchmark, but nothing makes them look worse than their very own words. Ladies and gentlemen, for April Fools, I proudly present to you User Benchmark's fully serious, supposedly professional review of Intel's latest flagship processor. Rocket Lake's IPC uplift translates to around 10% faster effective speed than both Intel's 10th gen and AMD's 5000 series. Despite Intel's performance lead, AMD continues to outsell Intel. Given Intel's colossal R&D operation, it's bewildering that their marketing seems so neglected. Little effort is made to counter widespread disinformation such as, it uses too much electricity, or the classic, it needs more cores. Intel samples are often distributed to reviewers that appear better incentivized to bury Intel's products rather than review them realistically. Not enabling XMP or only testing with BIOS power limits enabled is akin to leaving the handbrake on during a timed lap. Sackable. A mind-numbing list of irrelevant, scientific, and rendering benchmarks are presented as gospel. When it's convenient, unrepresentative canned game benchmarks are chosen, e.g. Electrical CSGO, which runs at nearly double the in-game FPS. Different games, mostly unplayed by real users, are cherry-picked for user review. At every release, AMD's marketers circle overhead coordinating narratives to ensure another feast of blue bubba ensues. Credible benchmark data, which necessarily includes replicable video footage from popular games, is the exception rather than the rule. Nonetheless, towards the end of 2021, Intel's Golden Cove is due to offer an additional 20 to 30% performance increase. At that time, with a net 30 to 40% performance lead, Intel will probably regain significant. User Benchmark is run by a brave team of scientists who stand alone against a worldwide conspiracy, for there is a horde of incompetent more-core marketers selling ice to Elsa. Their words, not mine. If User Benchmark is to be believed, then most review sites are part of this conspiracy. Hardware Unboxed is part of it. Linus Tech Tips most definitely is. Just look at him. But User Benchmark exists to expose the corruption and to let the world know the truth. That AMD is rubbish and you shouldn't buy any products from them. In reviews on their site, when everybody else was praising Ryzen for offering better value for money and more cores than similarly priced Intel products, User Benchmark was the only one to notice the importance of Intel's superior single-core performance. And now that Ryzen's got superior single-core performance, User Benchmark is bravely pointing out that Intel is offering better value for money and more cores. Brave indeed. I covered this brave company exactly a year ago actually, and now I'm doing the same again because a few interesting things have happened in this last year to have changed the situation. And while user Wenchak is blatantly as anti-AMD as usual, you may now find yourself agreeing with some of the things they're saying, if not for the reasons they're saying it. Let's begin. To summarise, when AMD's Ryzen 5000 series was released, they were undisputedly faster than Intel's offerings. You can know this for a fact because even Buser Meanshark begrudgingly admits it. Even now, after newer generations of Intel products have been released, AMD's 5000 series remains blazingly fast. They scale right up to the ultra high end, and they sip power compared to Intel's products. Unfortunately, until now, the Ryzen 5000 series has neglected budget users. To understand what's going on here, we must look to past generations of Ryzen. So when you go to buy a new processor, after setting yourself a price budget, probably the most important decision to make is the number of cores you want. Say, for instance, you want 8. Historically, AMD has offered faster processors with an X at the end of their names, indicating that they have faster cores. But anybody looking for the best value for money will instead opt for the ones without the X on the end, because they're a bit cheaper and not much slower. So in the first generation of Ryzen, you go for the 1700. In the second, you go for the 2700. And with the 3000 series, you can already see it starting to change. They were no longer offering a non-X version, and later on in the generation started paving the way for even more premium XT versions, which nobody bought because it wasn't worth it. And the 5000 series has got even worse with this. At launch, the 5800X was the only 8-core processor they offered, and at $450 it was the most expensive 8-core Ryzen that AMD had ever released, apart from the 1800X. I'm not against these sorts of products, they make sense if you want the fastest 8-core processor that AMD can create. But if you're in the market for an affordable 8-core, then the 5000 series was the first that didn't cater to your needs. Where was the $330 option? Of course, I know why AMD did this. They didn't have competition at the time from Intel, so didn't need to offer price competitive parts. I knew at the time that cheaper 6 and 8 cores were going to come eventually. AMD had deliberately left gaps in the naming schemes for them. But sure enough, it required Intel to step up their game first, and even then, AMD waited a long time before providing alternatives. And the reason that they priced the 5800X at $450 in the first place wasn't accidental. It was to tempt people to spend even more. For just $100 more, the 12-core 5900X suddenly looked like very good value for money. But this left budget buyers in a difficult spot. The cheapest option available was the 5600X, which priced at $300, priced it more like the cost of an earlier 8-core than a 6-core. For anybody looking for something below that, you're out of luck. You'll have to hope that a 3000 series of processor is still in stock somewhere, and even then, these budget offerings were virtually impossible to find anywhere. You can argue why this was, but the truth is that slowly, the budget lineup has been drying up as Ryzen has placed themselves higher and higher up the pricing segments. Now this is a far cry from AMD of old. 6 cores were just $220 in 2017, and there was always an excellent sub $150 lineup. There are even sub $100 4 and 6 core CPUs for a while. The 5000 series needed some budget heroes. Even when AMD eventually rolled out the G series of processors, they still neglected the budget market. The 5600G and 5700G are great processors to tide you over until you get your own graphics card, but starting at $260, they simply don't serve the same purpose as the older products did, like the 3200G, which were great for building ultra-budget gaming and office rigs with. In last year's video, I speculated about how User Benchmark was going to twist their reviews of the G series to make it negative, and to their credit, they didn't do that. In fact, they didn't even review them, meaning that AMD's product pages on that site have instead defaulted to generic readouts of benchmark figures, which describes them as an excellent result. So how about that? User Benchmark's product reviews have been made better by them literally not doing them. But since the only new potentially budget AMD processor, the 5300G, only showed up in pre-built PCs, it means that PC builders have again been left without a budget offering. Luckily for us, Intel have decided to become what Ryzen used to be, by offering more for less money. Their new 11,000 and 12,000 series of processors may be more power hungry than AMD's are, but they're also very fast and more affordable across all the product tiers. But where they've really excelled has been in the budget range, notably filling the exciting sub £200 6-core market that AMD has left vacant. And these are good processors. So in other words, the roles have reversed. And it's hard to argue with Intel's value proposition here. So I actually agree with Huger Schenchmark calling AMD out for this. They go about it the wrong way, criticising AMD for bundling their product with a free and perfectly adequate CPU caller, slacking off their past products, and then they accuse AMD of misleading marketing. It still astounds me that they dedicate so much of a product summary to unrelated and unfounded claims. But ignoring that nonsense, I do agree with their sentiment that you can get something similar for less money elsewhere, but things will soon be changing. AMD finally got around to cutting their prices just the other month, and later in this month, they will be releasing much more affordable 4 and 6 core processors. And about time, as this is exactly what Benchmark wanted. If these products turn out to be as good as they look, then I am absolutely sure that their reviews of these products will be positive. Won't they, User Benchmark? Yes, they will. In conclusion, they are now arguing that good value is more important than fastest performance, which
Today is scammer destruction.
Okay, so chloroform, we all know it as the liquid that sends you to sleep, but actually that's not really what it does. Or at least that's not what it is going to be used for in this video. Chloroform is a very useful solvent. It can dissolve all sorts of things. I mean, you can use chloroform to knock people out if you want. This is the part of the video where I say you shouldn't do this, and it's bad, and stains cool. But the main thing I want to dissolve is caffeine. I want to extract the caffeine out of 10 kilos of coffee beans. I'll be doing the coffee beans in a future video, just to see how much caffeine I can get out of it. That's gonna take a lot of chloroform. So for this video, I just want to make as much chloroform as possible, hopefully up to a liter. And to do that, I'm gonna need some sodium hypochlorite. So I've just bought myself almost 50 liters of concentrated bleach, which contains a lot of sodium hypochlorite. And the next ingredient we need is acetone, which is really dangerous. Let me demonstrate. Warning, I'm a self-proclaimed professional and I'm not liable for your actions. Yeah, so you don't want this happening inside of your lab. Let me just.
That was extremely chaotic.
You want to see more chaos? Check this out. Warning, I'm a self-proclaimed professional and it's not working. I think it's waterlogged. Don't age restrict the video, YouTube. It was just water. Yeah, we're gonna be making a huge amount of chloroform. So to make this, I've looked at some YouTube tutorials and it seems that they use just acetone and bleach. Instead, I've bought myself 3 times the strength of regular bleach at 125 grams per liter available. So the reason they're all in a freezer is because the reaction we're gonna do is very exothermic, which means it's gonna heat up a lot. And oh my god, it's like 20 kilos. Apparently some YouTubers had issues with the version that was less concentrated, so having it 3 times more concentrated, let's hope it's not 3 times more hot or more heat. We'll have to see. We'll have to do a little small scale test. I might as well just read the safety directions.
Yeah, let's do
just
that.
so we know like what we're dealing with. Skin damage, and dead fish. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's why I have some airflow. Not to be used for any purpose or in any manner contrary to this label unless authorized under appropriate legislation. I've watched a few tutorials online on just chemistry YouTubers who've made chloroform before. How to make chloroform. And this is the only person I've seen so far that's done it with a concentrated solution. Panic and evacuation. We're gonna have to hope that that doesn't happen today. We're just gonna have to do a small scale test first to make sure that this is actually going to work without, you know, chloroforming ourselves. Now let's have a look at this solution. Well, it's slightly yellow. Now I have an idea. What I think most people would do is use a big funnel like this because it's logical, but scrap that. Okay, so this is my idea.
Wait, are you siphoning that? Like, are you... Like,
I'm not
oh, okay.
I'm not gonna use my mouth.
Alright, so what's the plan?
I mean, I could try, but I don't think it would go very well. No. So instead of using my mouth, I'm gonna try to cap it like that. See?
Okay. Yeah.
Force the whole tube in. Just go down. Rotate it.
Is this normally how your videos go?
Yeah, this is like half of my videos. Oh, totally. Surely. Oh, fine. I think we should do it outside. I think you're right. We're just gonna go for it. Stand back. I reckon that's a perfect amount. Yeah. It's like 900 milliliters. I'll just...
Whoa.
Whoa. So I'm getting a thermometer. What temperature is this? Maybe -3 degrees Celsius, I think. It's not as cold as I would like.
What is it supposed to be?
I'd prefer -10.
What? Is that going to be an issue?
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know how much acetone I'm supposed to add to this. 1.67 and divided by 3 acetone divided by 3 equals 0.55. 66. Get rid of that. 41.45 milliliters of acetone. That sounds about right. So now we have our components ready. Okay, acetone's going in. You can see it's fogging up. This is called the haloform reaction, which I don't understand. Okay, for those wanting an actual explanation, we've got Prussian blue to tell us.
Speaking of the haloform reaction, let me explain it for you. Just a heads up, I'm going to do the explanation speedrun version because this reaction has honestly been beaten like a dead horse at this point.
That's alright.
Extremely simplified, an acetyl group gets halogenated by a base, and because that base is there, the acetone gets lagged by the hypochlorite. And then a bunch of bullshit happens, and now we have this really cool carbon chloride free ion. And then the ion abstracts a proton from the acetone, and now we have the sleepy juice.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's already gone up like 4 degrees. I'm just gonna add this in slow additions. Okay, it's already very milky. That's the little droplets of chloroform forming in solution. They're so tiny that it just clouds the entire thing. And if you just let it settle out over some time, it should slowly settle down to the bottom and you can pick up your chloroform from the bottom. Yeah, it's almost 30 degrees now. Okay, chloroform boils at 62 degrees. So as long as this solution doesn't hit 60 degrees, we'll be okay. You meant to use a stir stick, but I just use thermometers. If the thermometer breaks, we get mercury at the bottom and that'll be interesting. Oh, look at this temperature. It's actually like moving real time. Do you see it? Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's like 55, 57. Oh, you can see chloroform. Yeah, so that's all chloroform pooling at the bottom. I think I use. Does it smell like chloroform too?
Yep.
I think we just barely managed. So I'm gonna use this glass pipette to just take this out. I'm gonna put some in this beaker. It's a little cloudy, so it's not pure, but it's good enough. Should I give it a smell test? I wanna sniff it.
Is there another way to figure out how pure it is, or?
No, this is the only way.
Okay. Anyway, let's do it.
It kind of smells like antifreeze. You know what it smells like?
No. You get.
That was a strong one.
Okay.
It's definitely chloroform,
It is
though.
chloroform, yeah.
Definitely chloroform. Now it's just time to scale everything up and do the reaction inside of this jug. It's gonna be scary because we can't see how it's going. We're just gonna feel it warming up slowly. So we're starting off with the smallest of the containers, and then we'll work our way up to the larger and more concentrated ones in the freezer. So this reaction is going to be almost 13 times larger than the reaction we just did in this beaker. That's 450 milliliters of acetone. Maybe we should add 200 mils first, and then see what it does. We're just gonna add it to the container, which feels really cursed. Oh shit, I can hear it foaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acetone's just floating on the surface, that's fine. Yeah, I can smell the chloroform. Lovely. It shouldn't produce any gas, so it should be fine to cap it. Just fucking mix it.
Is that producing gas?
On console, you've likely noticed that in previous generations, a game could just be inserted and played straight away with no install needed. Compare that to today, where inserting a game disc results in a lengthy wait while it installs. So what changed, and why do we have to install modern games before playing them? That's what we're going to answer in this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps this small channel grow. Modern games take up more storage space than older games, and different console generations each have different types of disc. The PS2, for example, uses DVDs for game discs, which can hold up to 4.7 gigabytes on a single layer disc. Compare this to the PS5, which uses Ultra HD Blu-ray discs, which can hold up to 100 gig of data. Modern games take up more storage space because they have higher resolution textures, more detailed character models, and more complex AI, just to name a few things. So if modern games take up more space but also use disks which store a larger amount of data, why do we need to install them and not just run them straight from the disk like we used to? This comes down to read-write speeds of disk drives compared to hard drives and SSDs. PS2 games are much smaller than modern games, as we've mentioned, and usually take up 1 to 4 gigabytes. The DVD drive on a PS2 can read discs at a speed of 4.7 megabytes per second, which is sufficient to load assets in real time. Game engines at the time were optimized for slow DVD drive read speeds, meaning textures, levels, and music could be loaded on demand. A PS2 game might load a full level in 5 to 10 seconds from the DVD drive because the assets were small and simple. If we compare this to the PS5, where 4K textures, detailed models, and huge open worlds require massive amounts of data to be streamed instantly. The PS5's Ultra HD Blu-ray drive is much faster than the PS2's DVD drive and can read speeds at 72 megabytes per second. While this sounds fast compared to the PS2, the PS5's internal SSD that the game's installed to has a speed of 5,550 megabytes per second. So the PS5 can read data from the SSD around 76 times faster than it could from the disk drive. We could, in theory, still have games run from the disk drive, but load times for games would be up to 76 times slower than they are at the moment, which would make most games completely unplayable. This would result in large open world areas in today's games taking upwards of 5 minutes to load rather than the 4 or 5 seconds that they take today, which is why modern games aren't run from the disk and need to be installed. Do you think we'll see games continue to increase in size, and how big will they get? Let me know down in the comments, and please do subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.
Look at all the icons going away on our screen because the files are deleting, and we're going to try to go into our camera. Lately, it's been a lot of investigating scammers and saving victims. But this call, we're just going in and destroying a scammer. So here's the plan. I'm going to give the scammers a little taste of their own medicine. You know, manipulating them just like they manipulate their victims.
You can just call me Mom. Can I call you Mom, really? Yes. Oh, that would be wonderful.
The other thing that these guys like to do is sit behind their little computers and collect all your personal information. They share it, sell it, and use it to scam you out of your own money. So we're going to access their system. And for those of you in the comments that say we need to go after System 32, we're doing it today. We're going to tear down their system file by file until the computer completely crashes. It's time for some scammer payback, baby. Let's get into it.
Thanks for calling support. This is Dennis Matthews. How may I assist you? Yes, my name is Mary Swanson. I have an email from VeriSign. Who's VeriSign?
Ma'am, I don't know this.
It says Nortron Secure powered by VeriSign. Thank you for your renewal service. The account statement for your $369.88. Please contact our customer service department if you require assistance.
So, ma'am, this charge is made for the Norton Renewal Services, Norton LifeLock Security Program. I understand that it's for $369.88, right?
Yes, if you could just call me Mary, that would be nice.
All right, Mary. Mary, can you please help me out with the invoice number?
Yes, I can.
All right, ma'am. So just stay on the line.
Oh, no, it's
Let me go
Mary,
ahead
not
and check this
it's
for you.
Mary.
Yes, Mary. Just on the line. Just let me go ahead and check this up for you, okay?
Okay.
Ma'am, are you there? Mary, are you there?
Yes.
What the crap?
Thank you for support. This is Kate. How may I help you?
Yes. Hi, Kate. My name is Mary Swanson. I was just on with a gentleman. I gave him my invoice code. I don't know if you guys were having any load shedding or something, but I had gotten disconnected.
I apologize for that, ma'am. So that's why you have been notified through the invoice from the PayPal
Okay,
server.
well, I thought I was going to be getting my money back.
Definitely, you will get your full refund back. Because
Okay, well,
like
how do I
said,
do that, honey?
It's fraudulent.
I'm sorry, by the way.
I'll help you out.
I am sorry.
It's okay. Let me help you out here first and verify your identity. Okay? What you have to do, you need to follow the steps exactly which I'm guiding you on your Motorola cell phone.
And I'm
so I can
sorry, your
connect
name
you
is
with the
Courtney?
PayPal
Your name is
server.
Courtney?
No, it's Kate Carter.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, ma'am. Put me on a speakerphone first.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
now,
I'm
ma'am,
sorry.
you can go back. Please don't be sorry. It's okay. Do you have a tablet or any smartphone?
I have a computer.
What computer is that?
It's a Hewlett Packard.
I got it. I got it. Okay, ma'am. Now, go to your computer, please, and open up Google in your phone. Google
Courtney,
or
I'm sorry,
Mozilla,
but I don't
whatever
have
you-
Courtney, I don't have a browser on my phone. I have a Hewlett Packard desktop.
No. Go to your, yes, that's what I'm saying. Go to your Hewlett Packard desktop computer.
Oh.
And turn it on.
Okay. I'm sorry. My son used
It's
to tell
all
me
right.
I was an idiot all the time.
Please don't say bad words about yourself. It's just you're not computer savvy, and that's why I'm sitting here to help you out.
Correct. Okay, so I have my desktop. You want me to push the button on?
Yes, ma'am. Push the button on and turn on your computer.
Oh, this thing just sparked my finger a little bit. Because I wear fuzzy socks around the house, so I guess that maybe some type of electrical charge was in my finger.
You're so funny, Mary.
Oh, thank you. So the scammer gets me to download AnyDesk, which is a remote access tool, and typically they can go in and see the victim's computer and do anything that they want. Now, little did they realize that they were connecting with me and being on my virtual playground where I make the rules and they don't. Okay, you can't see
Whenever
my screen.
you do anything,
Okay.
I cannot.
Well, I can
So
see
whenever
yours.
you do anything important,
I'm just kidding. What if I could see your screen? You know, that would be crazy. It would honestly be crazy. Once we've reversed the connection to the scammer's computer, just like we've done here, we'll try to download files from their system. Things like information on the scammers that we can expose, or even information on past and current victims that we can help. Here we find a music file that is being played on the scammer's computer called Puda Jane, which means God only knows. Once we have the information that I want, we're going to use it against the scammer and try to scare her.
now do one thing, Mary. Log into your online banking first. I sent you $1 from PayPal. Click on Google Chrome icon. Yes.
Okay, did that.
Now
what?
type your bank name.
It's Chase.
What's your
Are
bank
you familiar
name?
with Chase Bank?
Definitely, I am.
You can't see this, can you?
Not really, Mary.
Okay. Oh, you can just call me Mom.
Can I call you Mom, really?
Yes.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I lost my mom in 2018.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually really sad, to be honest.
But
Um,
no problem.
I'm really. I lost my mom as well in 2009.
No problem. We both are at the same point.
Yes. You know, she used to sing Kuda John to me. Kuda John.
Okay. Let's not get emotional because I'm a very emotional person.
I know she used to
Okay,
sing
and
It was Bachna e Hasino. That was the song she would sing to me. Kuda John.
okay, Mary,
Bachna
let
e
me guide you
Hasino.
here. Let me guide you the steps here, okay?
Kuda Jane. Do you know what that means, honey? You know what Kuda Jane means?
No.
It means
No,
God
not
knows.
really.
It means God knows.
Okay. There, Mary?
Yes.
I need your attention. We are at the verification process right now.
Okay.
Do you see on the very top left corner,
Yes.
there is a 3 horizontal lines. Please click on that.
Okay, I did that. Now what?
You will get some of the options.
What options?
Really? Don't worry, guys. We are going to get back on the phone with Kate. And I'm sure that you all saw that she had some connection problems. And I noticed that too. So I started to get a little bit worried that I would lose connection to her. So before we lost access, I went to the root drive of C and I deleted everything. Now with the correct rights and privileges, hopefully that's got system 32 in there, which would render her system completely useless. She can go and resort to backups and re-imaging the system in Windows and all of that. But even if for a day we stopped her, it's a win, so she's not scamming anybody. I hope that they don't go to Zell because I didn't do the Zell update on this. There's like 457,000 files that it's trying to delete, but with permissions and stuff like that, it might not work. I can't escalate my privilege. Let me see here. Oh, maybe I can. Up. There we go. She's using text now. She's calling me.
Hello?
Yes, this is Mary Swanson.
Hi, Mary. This
Hi.
is Kate Carter.
Hi, Kate.
We got disconnected. I don't know what happened.
I'm sorry. Is it something I did?
Not really. Okay, now start typing in there, Chase.
Chase.com, right?
Yes. Do you see some options? It says quick pay with Zelle. Click on that. It says quick pay with
Pay
Zelle.
with Zelle? What is
Yes.
Zelle? What is that?
Zelle is the server app of PayPal that we use for verifying customer identity. So click on it.
All right,
I'll guide
second.
you.
Look at all of her icons going away. Look at all the icons going away on her screen because the files are deleting. Remember how she had icons on the toolbar, on the taskbar? All the icons are starting to go away because the files are vanishing over time.
Did you click on it?
So now I've hidden her input so she can't click on anything. And we're going to try to go into her camera.
Did I, hello? Did I? I lose you, Kate? Hello?
Now click on the arrow.
Yes. Can you click on quick pay with Zelle?
Click on the arrow.
A quick pay?
Now try 276.
With
I'm trying to click on it on. Hello?
Hello? Dang, they gave up. I'm going to call them back. I'm going to call them back and play the song. This is the song that they had, that she had downloaded. Kate probably has taken the day off, just like her computer. This has been Pierogi with Scammer Payback, saying don't get scammed.
How many people are going to tell us Let's Game It Out is a massive content creator with over 5 million subscribers, and I am not. However, I have put quite a few hours in Satisfactory, and I would consider myself pretty alright at the game. So today I'll be blind reacting to Let's Game It Out playing Satisfactory. Let's get straight into the video. Link to Let's Game It Out's channel will be in the description below. He makes amazing content. I just haven't seen much of his Satisfactory stuff. So today, let's just dive straight into it. Oh no.
Hey there, it's Josh. Welcome back to Let's Game It Out.
Hi.
Oh boy, let's play some Satisfactory today. We love.
Oh my god. It's worse than I thought. My expectations were down here. I've got to lower them. Okay, I've got to lower them even further. Jesus, Lord have mercy on my brain.
Love this game around here, where there are endless ways to shatter your bones. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's catch you up on what's happened so far. First, we built a wonderful, normal, working factory.
That's fine.
For like a second. Then it turned into this, then into this, and then this, and also some of this. Eventually, we reached.
Oh my god! This is the most spaghetti I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, he's got nuclear power, and if it's working, fair play. Look at all the nuclear waste. I mean, this is straight up low-key impressive. And I thought this was bad. No, this is actually good compared to... That's actually insane. Like, I'm a bit speechless. I'm impressed. At the same time, I feel a bit sick. Oh my god, I mean, we're only 26 seconds into the video. Let's just let it play.
So much so that it hurt to exist here, and we had to flee. So after that, we slid our way over to Oranger Pastures.
Hey, good.
This time we did it right. We erased all of this nature, we put down a beautiful working factory, and we can't forget about hypertubes, which is good for normal transportation.
That's pretty cool.
See if we can reclaim that.
Oh my. Is that all for nuclear waste? Oh no, oh no. So this entire thing is just for nuclear waste. Oh my god.
Concerns each and every one of those barrels that's actively hurting me while I talk. That's okay though.
Oh my god. This is the most insane thing I've seen in Satisfactory. Like, look at this thing. Like, this is not just spaghetti. This is spaghetti. Even the way the core generators are positioned. Why? Why do you want to do this to yourself? I'm triggered, but in the best way possible. I love this. I hate it even more.
Sumptuous radiation issues.
Yeah.
Even more radiation issues, and we're gonna have to figure this out fast because I don't know what happened.
The thing is, right? He's got all. He's got his main like ores and ingots. He's got aluminium casing, quartz, all mixed in with the nuclear stuff. So if he ever wants to try and collect any of these resources, he's going to take radiation poisoning.
It's definitely cursed now, and even more radiate. Oh, it looks like things have kind of come to a standstill.
Yeah, that's not good.
See, the last time we were in this base was before they added fluid to the game. And now that all of these beauties have been...
Oh no, wait, when was this video recorded? Oh, over 2 years ago. It's a bit of an annoying fix. It is doable, but yeah, if this was like a normal Let's Play, this would be disastrous. But considering it's Let's Game It Out, and I've seen some of his previous videos in other games, I'm sure he's gonna make this quite interesting.
Don't worry though, we're gonna get this all back online, and the first step is gonna be getting all this radiation out of here. First things first,
good idea.
Some items.
Good idea.
Good thing we've got materials everywhere. Not to mention
surrounded by your nuclear waste.
Good to know where these things are anyway.
No.
Quick slide away. Ah, home sweet second home. I missed you, security blanket of pipes and.
What? How does this? Just play the video. Oh, it's the most painful cold facility. Hey, lizard doggo.
Don't mind if I do.
As long as he doesn't try to kill it, that's fine.
As long as he doesn't try to kill it, that's fine.
Talk. Looks like the barrels are still coming, which shows that the process is
Wait, look at all the trains.
Great talk. Looks like the
Why are there so many trains up there? Is there... but to be fair, the nuclear strategy is working like he's thought of, so it's a good strat. I mean, in theory, what you could do is get all your nuclear waste into a train, send that train to another train station miles away, underneath some part of the map, in like a little cave or whatever. Dump all of your nuclear waste and then never have to worry about it ever again. But this is Let's Game It Out, so let's see what he's going to think of. I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to be genius.
Do you remember that lizard doggo that we saw? As you can see, he's a little bit timid if we get too close.
Don't do anything to the doggo.
Can this little guy carry a stack of barrels? Only one way to find out. Come on, little guy.
I knew exactly where this was going to go.
How am I going to get you to want to be down there?
I'm guessing he's going to build a barrier out there, have the dog follow him on the foundations, and then destroy the foundations.
What if we build some platforms? Mission successful. Oh, let's do it again.
Several hours?
Good God, that took forever. But at least we got him.
Oh no.
Yep, you know what to do. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say.
Oh, for God's sake. I mean, yeah, it's actually kind of credit where credit's due. It is actually a good idea. Yeah, it's gonna take ages, but it's also hilarious.
We do still have to deal with radiation, of course.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I haven't forgotten that this one needs water too. First things first is we need to locate a water source.
I didn't even realize that was up there. Why is that? How is he going to get water up there? Actually, I suppose it's pretty simple. You can get the pipe into the middle of this tornado thing, and then make a vertical pipe. And if you add a couple of the valves, you should be fine. Or the water pressure pumps. That should look pretty nice. And you can even hide the pipe as well. Maybe he tries to hide the pipe.
Oh yeah, and this reactor over here too. Okay, so and then right into a waterfall.
Why is that?
Allow it, so I'll do it. Well, it doesn't appear to be any water getting here, at least not yet.
Might take some time.
Weird, gross, illogical.
You'll probably get a good few in then. For those amount of like nuclear radiation plants, you're probably going to need about.
We have a couple more, quite a bit more. I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pipes and more pipes. I spent a little time.
No. First of all, the first thing I've got to say is the dedication to these videos is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Second of all, I feel physically sick.
And now it's time to get to the piping. Ta-da! Pipes, and...
And none of that's, like, that is not going to work. Because of the flow rate's going to be atrocious.
More pipes.
Oh my God. I hope there was a small army helping him do this. Or that he was watching a very good podcast in the background. That's insane.
Pretty much if there's ground to cover, that's where we put pipes. And I do mean anywhere where there's ground to cover. Or if it's cliffs, also now pipe.
You know what's crazy? This is right next to where I'm playing my brand new series on Satisfactory that I literally just started a couple days ago, and it's unrecognizable.
Yeehaw to beautiful, endless manufacturing. Oh, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten about this guy. I know we need to get water up here too, and I know that seems pretty daunting, but don't you worry, I've got an.
It's not really that daunting. Like, literally, all you've got to do, vertical pipe, add a couple of those flow rate thingies and you'll be fine. Completely fine. 7 hours for that.
And connected. See, that wasn't so hard to get water up here. All I had to do was build a couple of water pipes. A lot of water pipes. A lot of...
Wow. Actually, wow. That works as well, I suppose. It just let the video play, Pickle. And the thing is, right, if this was what he was building, I would say this is pretty bad. And then you see this. It makes this look good.
Over. Oh boy, have I noticed some cursed stuff still happening. You know, I think
never even seen that.
In that, we have something called drones. Transport's available. Okay, first things first, let's go ahead and connect this thing all the way through our pile of crap. I mean, surely somewhere in here are batteries, right? Wait. Those look like batteries to me. Quickly, new conveyor belt.
That's a lot of batteries.
And now take some of those batteries.
What's he using all those batteries for?
If it doesn't care about collision, this gives me an idea. So here's my master.
Well, that's never a good sign when Let's Game It Out says, I've got an idea. That normally involves something being destroyed, or something that's going to lead to the process of something being destroyed.
Plan. We're gonna use those drones to take all these luscious supplies and transfer them to our other non-cursed base. Because after all, we don't want all these supplies or all this luscious
or a train could do that.
Go to waste.
What? I have never seen that again.
Because if you recall, I made a nice little railway that doesn't give a crap about the...
I knew about this, but still.
Anyway, look at all that space out there. Let's see if we can use it.
No way.
Well, I think we know what needs to happen next, don't we?
Oh,
Is there a limit to this? Only one way to find out.
You're gonna place down like 20 of these things, isn't he?
Let me tell you, there's a lot of drones here. In total, there's 384 drones here, quietly spread out underneath our base.
Oh no. Oh my.
Oh my god.
Oh my days.
Off they go. Off at 2 frames a second to seek fame and fortune on their pilgrimage to the sacred gimme goodies. You know what I did?
This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in this game.
So we can get that real feeling like they're trying to be shot down.
That's so
Evasive
cool.
maneuvers. Serpentine, serpentine. And before you know it, here they are coming in to join the queue. Higher and higher and higher they go.
That's insane.
Is it going to be a long queue?
And that's the end of the video. Oh my god, man. I mean, I knew that this video would be rather interesting, but I didn't quite think it would be like that. I feel like most of my commentary was just saying, oh my gosh, because that was both like the worst thing I've ever seen in Satisfactory and the best thing I've ever seen at the exact same time. I thoroughly enjoyed reacting to that. Like, I really did enjoy reacting to that. If you guys enjoyed it as well, drop a like and subscribe if you like Satisfactory. I make daily Satisfactory videos pretty much. And I hope that you guys did enjoy.
On the surface, there is nothing remarkable looking about this laptop. This has to be the most generic, yup, we rebranded a Clevo laptop packaging that I have ever seen in my life. But I guarantee you that on the inside, there is nothing generic about this machine. First of all, it's from Tuxedo Computers. See, you can see they got their little silkscreen logo on there, which means it is designed to work out of the box perfectly with Linux. Number 2 is all this stuff. Oh, that's just cardboard. Okay. You get a Tuxedo Computers notepad. You get another Tuxedo Computers notepad, just in case you don't have a computer to do things digitally, but you do because you just bought one, whatever, small details. Pella, help me out here. Sollen Surrier Tuxedo System meet Voller Schlussenglung Bestelt Haven Order.
Nope, I'm not getting anything.
You got nothing? Alright, I tried. Oh, if you have ordered a Tuxedo system with full encryption, or if you subsequently set up encryption via WebFAI, please note the following information: default password, etc. Oh, very cool. Hey, encryption, security, that's good shiz. Okay, you get a postcard in German, and no other, what is the intention here? Okay, Pella, help me out here. What do we got here? Der Prager Schriftsteller Franz Kafka war in seinem Leben dreimal verlobt. Okay, I think this says start with Tux. Why is so much of the packaging in German? I guess these guys are German, so that's cool. We also get a Tuxedo Computers USB key. This has their WebFAI information on it, presumably. I don't know, I'm gonna plug this in later. Cleaning cloth, and look at that. All the little parts that you're gonna need if you wanna do some little upgradey grades, like add another SATA drive. 16 gigs of RAM,